But ladies and gentlemen, at this stage, and having registered the above sentiments, I wish to share with you why President John Dramani Mahama is the leader Ghana needs now. Even though there has been and continues to be hopelessness, lawlessness, and absolute impunity in the last 3.5 years under the vindictive and non-performing Akufo-Addo government, there is hope for a better, inclusive, and prosperous Ghana. This hope is anchored on the return of the visionary, trustworthy, and humble John Dramani Mahama to the Jubilee House on 7th January 2021 to rescue our beloved country from the hands of the vindictive, corrupt, and nepotistic Akufo-Addo government, and to restore the nation back to the path of true progress and development. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is committed to fixing the mess that has been created by the maladministration of President Akufo-Addo in all sectors of the nation and in all facets of our lives. He is committed to deliver transformational leadership that is needed to create prosperity and wealth for all. As he has announced through his digital conversations with the nation in the last few months, President Mahama, when elected, shall, number one, pay all customers of the collapsed financial institutions whose monies are locked up in full and restore indigenous Ghanaian participation in the financial sector. I need to expatiate on this point because it is very important. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, we were told by this government that they were cleaning the banking sector and securing the deposits and investments of the customers of banking and financial institutions. Today we know that that was a lie, because that so-called cleaning up of the banking sector has turned out to be a messing up of the banking sector. Customers who were told that their monies were secured today cannot access their deposits. Many livelihoods have been destroyed as a result of that. Many businesses have been destroyed as a result of that. People have died as a result of the depression they have experienced as a result of the fact that their monies, their lifetime savings, deposits, investments are locked up in these collapsed financial institutions. President Mahama, who has the people of this country at heart, is promising that when elected, he will pay all, and listen to my words carefully, all, not some, all of the customers of the collapsed financial institutions in full, and restore indigenous Ghanaian participation in the financial sector. And so we are not going to act like dishonest President Akufo-Addo, who promised the customers of these financial institutions that he was going to pay all of them, and has now turned around to coerce them, compel them to reduce their deposits and their monies by as much as 50% before they get paid. President Mahama is honest, he is trustworthy, and he can be relied upon. When he promises, he delivers. And so, all will mean all, and payment in full will mean payment in full. We will not act like the New Patriotic Party, come to office and amend our promises like we are being told today that the promise of one district, one factory has been amended to include factories which are as older as Sami Gyamfi. We will not do that. We will implement this promise to the letter and ensure that these customers, within our first year in office, get access to their deposits and their monies, to take care of their families, go back into business, which we believe, is an imperative. Number two, President Mahama has already announced that he will reduce the size of government by at least 40 ministers to reduce government expenditure and channel those resources into the productive sectors of the economy for the benefit of Ghanaians. And ladies and gentlemen, the reason why this commitment is very important is that we know that we are in hard times. All is not well in this, with this country. Economy is in a mess. Revenue mobilization is suffering. Government is unable to undertake developmental projects for the good of our societies and the people. The excuse is that there is no money. And that situation has been compounded by the COVID-19 pandemic, which has affected revenue mobilization and the economy in general. But speaking about there not being money, and the fact that we need to raise money for developmental projects, we must understand that raising money comes in two ways. We don't always have to impose taxes on the already impoverished Ghanaian to raise money for developmental projects. But in difficult times, it is incumbent on leaders to adopt austerity measures so that whilst we are expanding the tax net, trying to rake in more revenue for developmental projects, we also cut government expenditure and free resources which would have gone into the pockets of political appointees, resources which would have gone into the payment of the salaries of ministers, their drivers, their bodyguards, accommodation for them, land cruisers for them, saloon cars and all that. Free all those millions of resources for developmental projects such as roads, such as schools, such as hospitals, and for investments in the productive sectors of the economy that will create the needed jobs and prosperity for all Ghanaians. This is what President Mahama has committed to do. And like I said, when he promises, he delivers. And so you can count on that. Again, President Mahama has committed to provide free technical and vocational education from the second cycle to the tertiary level to build the human resource base of the nation for industrial development, entrepreneurship, and job creation. This promise, this commitment is my favorite because it is the panacea to the problem of high unemployment confronting this country. You cannot deal with unemployment, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot develop, you cannot achieve rapid industrialization without developing your human resource base as a country and ensuring that you have skilled labor for the industrial sector and other productive sectors of the country. And so under this free TVET program, we are going to ensure, under the leadership of President Mahama, that students who choose vocational or technical courses are able to go to school for free at the secondary level and the tertiary level. And that is what makes this promise novel. We have heard the NPP say that, oh, this is already being done under free SHS. No, it is not being done because currently tertiary, vocational, and technical education is not free. President Mahama is promising that. And this is going to ensure that we build our human resource base as a country, create jobs through entrepreneurship, and rapid industrialization. Again, President Mahama has committed to institute a national apprenticeship program in line with his vision of rapid industrialization and job creation for this country. And you can see these commitments on the screen as I mentioned them. This national apprenticeship program, ladies and gentlemen, is different from the free TVET program because with free TVET, you need to enroll into an educational institution. It is formal. Okay, go study. Now, President Mahama is saying that apart from the vocational and technical education we'll be giving them, we'll also ensure that they study mathematics, English, and science to prepare them for the job market when they are done. But we are introducing, President Mahama is saying that you'll be introducing a national apprenticeship program where unemployed people, the aged, adults, our mothers, some of whom are on the street hawking as kaya is, who cannot go back to school to benefit from the free TVET program, can enroll into this national apprenticeship program whereupon they will be attached to a master crafts person, whether it is welding, whether it is vulcanizing, whether it is dressmaking or basket weaving. We will enroll you onto the program, attach you to a master crafts person, pay you an apprenticeship stipend every month because you will require transportation, feeding, and all that. So President Mahama is going to pay all these people who will be enrolled onto the National Apprenticeship Program stipends every month. And when you are done with your course, set you up with the toolkits you need, to be able to employ yourself and employ others possibly. And so that is what the National Apprenticeship Program is about. It's about creating jobs in the informal sector. It is about self-employment. Again, President Mahama has indicated that he will scrap the 50% increment in the communication service tax to reduce the cost of telephoning and data, and to reduce the cost of living and the cost of doing business in the country. You know that not too long ago, President Akufo-Addo decided to increase the communication service tax. I call it credit tax or talk tax by 50%. We have described that increment as insensitive and unnecessary. And President Mahama has committed that if elected, he will scrap this 50% increase in the communication service tax to reduce the cost of data and telephoning, to reduce the cost of living. Because reducing that by 50% will mean that we'll have more money in our pocket. The amount of money we are spending today on data and on telephoning will come down, especially for those of you in the media who depend on data for your work. This is good news for you. Again, President Mahama has committed himself to construct a regional hospital for each of the 6 newly created regions and the Western region to improve access to quality and efficient care delivery. So we are going to build 7 regional hospitals. And you know that when President Mahama tells you that he will build a hospital, you don't even have to think twice about it, because you know that he specializes in that. His record is there for all to see. Okay, the University of Ghana Medical Center, the Ridge Hospital, the Upper West Regional Hospital, the Bank of Ghana Hospital, and the several health facilities he constructed between 2012 to 2016 bears him out as a leader who undertakes life-transforming projects, not only in the health sector, but in all sectors of the country. And so this is something he would do. 6 regional hospitals, 1 each for the newly created regions, and another 1 for the Western region, so 7 in all. Again, President Mahama has committed himself to provide districts with hospitals, districts without hospitals, with fully equipped modern health facilities when elected. Again, he has committed himself to take healthcare to the doorsteps of the people by building a first of its kind Onipenua hospital ship and deploy it to provide medical services to the inaccessible riverine and fishing communities on the inland Volta waterways. Additionally, the next Mahama government will rehabilitate the Onuado mobile vans that have been abandoned by the Akufo-Addo government and procure more to provide medical outreach services in underserved and hard-to-reach areas in all the 16 regions of the country. Again, President Mahama, when elected, will construct 2 new international standard infectious disease centers and 2 additional international research centers. Again, he has committed himself to abolish the dreaded double-track system of secondary education through an emergency and massive infrastructural drive. This will ensure a conducive environment and a one-track qualitative learning experience for SHS students. He has committed himself to establish university campuses in each of the 6 newly created regions. Also, he has committed himself to abolish the mandatory national service and the obnoxious licensure exams for teacher trainees and restore the automatic employment of teacher trainee graduates. Ladies and gentlemen, anytime we talk about the cancellation of the licensure exams for teacher trainees, you hear some say that, oh, are you saying that teachers should not be licensed? No, that is not what we are saying. We are going to ensure that teachers are licensed, like lawyers, nurses, doctors, and other professionals are licensed. But the basis for awarding licenses to teachers will not be examination. Examination which is not anchored on any known syllabus or any known standard. You cannot assess teachers who are professionals on the basis of that. What this government is doing is deliberate. They have no jobs for teachers because they are not expanding educational facilities, they are not creating new vacancies. And so to stifle teacher employment, they have deliberately introduced these nuisance policies, like a mandatory national service. Why national service? When teacher trainees undertake a mandatory mentorship program for 1 year on the field. Why a licensure exams? When you can assess teachers practically, like other professionals are assessed. I am a lawyer. When I passed my courses in school, I was not asked to write any licensure exams again. I was attached to a chamber as an intern, learned legal practice, practically. And thereafter, I had to take a 1 year mandatory pupillage. It is same for medical doctors as well. When they are done with their housemanship, nobody asks medical doctors to undertake mandatory national service and write licensure exams and all that. And so all these are convenient excuses by the Akufo-Addo government to stifle teacher employment, and we are going to scrap it. So let me state unequivocally, ladies and gentlemen, that no teacher trainee graduate will be denied posting or employment under the next Mahama government. Additionally, the promotion and welfare of teachers will be prioritized by the next Mahama government. Again, President Mahama has committed himself to restore the automatic employment of nursing trainee graduates when elected. Here again, let me state unequivocally that no nursing trainee graduate will be denied posting or employment under the next Mahama government. Again, the next Mahama government will restore the distribution of free cocoa fertilizer and chemicals to cocoa farmers to boost cocoa yield and improve the welfare of cocoa farmers. In the area of roads, President Mahama has committed himself that when elected, he will complete the Eastern Corridor roads, dualize the Aflao, Cape Coast, and Kumasi roads, among others. Also, President Mahama has committed himself to complete all abandoned or uncompleted hospital and health projects, educational projects, road projects, and other infrastructural projects in the country when he assumes the reins of power again on 7th January 2021, inshallah. Last but one, President Mahama has committed himself to punish corruption and end the practice of nepotism. And, ladies and gentlemen, President Mahama has committed himself to train, remunerate, and empower assembly members to be responsible for the local level registration of birth and deaths in their electoral areas to improve the national population register. And please let us pay attention to this promise, because when he announced it at his during his last Mahama Live digital conversation, it was reported by some portals as President Mahama is saying that he is going to pay assembly members. Let's get the context right. That is not exactly what he's saying. He's saying that we have a problem with our birth and death, systems. And so to ensure a consistent update of our birth and death register and the population register of this country, we are going to engage assembly members at the local level to be responsible for the collection of data on births and deaths for purposes of updating our national population register. And all assembly members who will participate in this program, in this activity, will be remunerated with some stipends at the end of every month. You understand? So the payment they are going to receive will be in the form of stipends for this work they are going to do. So let us understand that. We are not like the NPP who give mouth-watering promises, utopian promises, and after assuming office, turn around and amend those promises. We don't do that. So we want this promise to be very clear from day one. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, these are but a few of the policy alternatives which have been announced by the flag bearer and leader of the NDC, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. It is worth noting that we shall be outdooring our manifesto for the 2020 general elections in August this year, just 2 months away. But even before that, the flag bearer and leader of the NDC will, in the coming days, announce some big-ticket policies which are central to his transformational vision for this country. This announcement will include a major and comprehensive job creation policy he intends to undertake to create millions of permanent and dignifying jobs. Let me repeat, millions of permanent, not ad hoc, not the NABCO type of jobs, but permanent and dignifying jobs for the teeming unemployed youth when he assumes the reins of power in 2021. He'll be making this announcement in the coming days. I know a lot of young people are waiting to hear his alternative on job creations. You are going to love it. Because not only are we going to announce the policy, we are going to give you the breakdown and how we will achieve that when given the mandate. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, the point has to be made that the 2020 general elections is a referendum on the performance of President Akufo-Addo, who has failed woefully to deliver on his numerous campaign promises, having fulfilled only 14% of the 631 manifesto promises they made to the Ghanaian people in 2016. The comforts and transformation Ghanaians were promised by President Akufo-Addo and the New Patriotic Party in 2016 have become a pipe dream. Today, cost of living is so high and unbearable for the vast majority of Ghanaians due to the bad governance and the insensitive policies of President Akufo-Addo. The free fall of the Ghana cedi continues unabated. Businesses continue to collapse, leading to job losses. Whilst Ghanaians continue to suffer, ladies and gentlemen, the irony is that corruption continues to thrive under President Akufo-Addo, who, despite promising to fight same, has turned himself into the biggest enabler and promoter of corruption. For which reason he has earned the unenviable accolade, quote, Chief Corruption Clearing Agent. President Akufo-Addo has normalized nepotism and has continuously demonstrated little care for the welfare of Ghanaians. He has proven to be dishonest, inept, and corrupt, for which reason he must be shown the exit come December 7th, 2020. This country is yearning for a change. This country is yearning for a new sense of hope and direction. This country needs a visionary, trustworthy, and humble leader to ensure development, progress, and prosperity for all and not a select few. And that leader, I'm sure you will agree with me, is none other than His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Thank you very much for your attention.